I just woke up. And this morning I woke up thinking about a conversation that I had with my best friend yesterday. I was like, why does this cottage cheese taste so much better than other cheese? Yes, we're talking about cottage cheese. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelsey. I'm a person in recovery from drugs and alcohol. I believe that recovery is for everyone. Recovery is lifelong, and you must constantly be in recovery from everything. For me, I am in recovery from drugs and alcohol, methamphetamines. I got sober at 20 years old, and now I am living a free life. I'm 36, so God willing, I'll have 16 years of sobriety in November. Not only have I recovered from drugs and alcohol, I'm also recovering from a childhood full of trauma, and I had a parent who was morbidly obese. We just grew up not ever thinking about food or food quality or what was in our foods. And both of my parents have died early on. My mother was murdered by my stepfather, and my father died due to COVID complications. He said he had premorbidities, and basically it was his fault because he was too fat, sort of thing. I don't want to go down that road. I've got a lot of my own issues, but I don't want my weight to be something that hinders me from life. And I have tried really hard to be careful about what I eat. However, it feels like every single food out there is trying to kill us. One of the things, like, my husband has teased me over the years about how much time it takes me to grocery shop. A label reader. I'm trying to make sure that I find the best foods for myself and for my family. I was at the grocery store last week and I picked up the store brand cottage cheese. I read the labels on nearly everything. Cottage cheese is one of the things that I never thought to read the label on. So my friend says, oh no, you should only be buying Daisy cottage cheese. I don't typically buy name brand unless I know for sure that it is absolutely 100 times better. Compare the labels on these suckers. Feel free to pause the video if you're interested in reading the ingredient list, but I've got the ingredients for the Meijer store brand, the Aldi store brand, and then Daisy. Well, what'd you think? It's crazy, right? Who would have thought that there were so many gums and emulsifiers and chemicals in cottage cheese? I just don't understand. So I love to follow people who are constantly talking about these sort of things. Gubba Homestead, Paul Saladino, Bobby Parrish. We live in a world now where we have gobs of information at our fingertips, and a lot of it can be conflicting. I love the real Alex Clark. She does Culture Apothecary. I just love that people are talking about things that we never used to hear about, because in my family, when growing up, we were blind sheep. We followed what the news said. I remember every single morning my grandparents watched the Today Show, and whatever the news said, that's what we did because we believed in it. We trusted it. And I think since COVID, shut off, boiling my last eggs here from my friend, but we just blindly believed everything that the news said, that the government said, that people were saying, that were on the TV, you know? Oh, my door is open and it is 95 degrees. Oops. Super, super hot. And my house is currently a construction zone. I have this beautiful shade that the Amish put on the window yesterday because they're getting ready to add onto our roof. It's very exciting. I share some of those videos over on my other page, Camping Kelsey. So I know it's not camping, but it just kind of, the outdoorsy stuff just kind of fits better there. But my husband has always believed a little bit differently than I did, or he was raised differently. For certain things, the religious culture, they just kind of band together. But in other ways, they are much more free thinkers than what I was raised on. I love when, you know, families come together, people get married, and you just kind of bring it all together. And because of this, I have grown to just question everything. Another person that I love that I follow is Courtney Luna, and she is a carnivore, and her slogan is eat meat and question everything. We have the choice to follow who we want to follow, believe what we want to believe, and we have so much information at our fingertips that we're able to do that and inform ourselves. You do the research, you can make the best decisions for you and for your family. And if you do the research and you decide that you want to live off of Doritos and Slim Jims your whole life and wash them down with Pepsis, that's your choice. But for me, I have seen evidence of a life lived with processed food. My dad is morbidly obese. His mother was. Somehow my grandpa was able to live off of bologna sandwiches and soda pop, and he was always pretty fit. So it just affects everybody differently. I personally, I cannot wake up and feel full of carbs. I definitely cannot drink soda. And quite frankly, I don't see why anybody would fill their bodies with foods that have no nutritional value. Why would I put water in my car? It's why would I fill my body with gasoline? That's my take on it. If it's not serving a purpose, there's no reason to eat it. There are times when I will indulge in a sweet treat because I'm not gonna, I don't know, this is what I asked in a comment section one time on a Paul Saladino video, and he was like, I would never eat birthday cake. And I'm like, I don't really like birthday cake, but that's still serving a purpose. Having a very small piece, a tiny sliver, a taste of something, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I personally haven't come to the conclusion that, this is horrendous. I have, however, witnessed the effects of sugar on kids. I have children, and all of my children are deeply affected by sugar. It's crack cocaine for kids. And right now my child is, he is having some sugar. He's having grapes and blueberries with his eggs, to think protein focused. So, we need to be filling our bodies with protein. We need to be drinking our water, and we need to be moving our bodies. And that's what I'm not a perfectly fit person. Still have hormonal acne. I'm not perfect by any means. I don't always get it right, but I'm just a mom doing my best to make the best choices for my family. The food industry in America seems to be the main objective is to poison us, to keep us sick, to keep us in the doctors. Everybody's in bed with each other, the big pharma and the FDA and all. It's a big game. And I'm sick of the game. I wish I had gardens that were full of fruits and vegetables. I have an area that I'd really love to plant some apple trees. Eventually, I would love to have raised garden beds and contemplated chickens. I still do not know if it would be worth the time and money. Praise God, I have friends who have chickens, so I'm able to buy my eggs from them. But it's just making little tiny changes. My children are tormenting each other. I saw something the other day and it was really funny. It was if your kids aren't fighting and they're getting along, we call that the pre-fighting or something like that. And I just thought it was kind of silly. Let's get along. Okay, well, mom duties are calling and I am going to wrap this video up. So check your cottage cheese, read labels, and just make the best choices for you and your family. And if you're doing that, you're doing a great job. And if you're not, and you don't want to, that's your choice as well.